protection.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the gentleman for yielding. And I rise in strong support of H.R. 3523, and I want to thank Chairman Rogers and Ranking Member Ruppersberger for a bipartisan and inclusive process on an extremely difficult and technical issue. While I don't believe that this legislation is perfect and much work remains to be done, CISPA represents an important good faith effort to come together as a necessary first step towards better cybersecurity for our nation. Now, I have long worked on this issue for many years to raise awareness and to secure our nation against the threats that we face in cyberspace, and quite frankly, we are running out of time. I believe it's important that we act now to begin our legislative response to this critical issue. We all know how dependent we are on the Internet and how we use it so much in our daily lives, but the Internet was never built with security in mind, and what's happening is our adversaries are using the vulnerabilities and the against us. So I've also said that we need, of course, to have, and I've consistently been very clear, that we need to have robust privacy protections that must be included to safeguard personal and information. It also defends civil liberties in any cybersecurity response that we do enact. And I'm pleased to say that this legislation has been strengthened in that regard, and I believe, of course, that more can be done as we continue this important debate. That being said, the efficient sharing of cyber threat information envisioned by this legislation is vital to combating advanced cyber threats and stemming the massive ongoing theft of identities, intellectual property, and sensitive security information. This legislation, clear and simply, will allow the government to provide classified information, threat signatures to the private sector, and also allow the private sector to share with us the cybersecurity attacks that they are experiencing, sharing with the government so we have better situational awareness. If you look at this, it basically gives us radar, if you will, in cyberspace, sharing information back and forth on cyber threats that are facing the country. This bill is a good step, but it's only a first step. Voluntary information sharing is helpful and it's needed, but it does not on its own constitute strong cybersecurity. I've long maintained that we must also move forward on legislation that establishes minimum standards. Another 15 seconds, Mr. Chairman.
30 seconds.
The gentleman is recognized for 30 seconds.
Thank you. I thank the gentleman for the additional time. I have long maintained that we must also move forward on legislation that establishes minimum standards for the cyber systems that govern our critical infrastructure, particularly the electric grid and our water systems. With that, I again want to thank Chairman Rogers and Mr. Ruppersberger for their outstanding efforts, and I ask my colleagues to support this important cybersecurity information sharing legislation, and I yield back the balance of my time.
The gentleman from Michigan is recognized.
Chair, I would recognize for 2 minutes the gentlelady from California.
Gentlelady